Hello everybody and welcome back to The Big Hit. Today's episode we're going to be doing a little fantasy recap, and we're also going to be talking about some athletes and teams that have been flopping recently and playing pretty bad. So before we get right into the fantasy recap, we're going to recap you guys a little bit and talk a little bit about the punishment of our fantasy league. The loser of our fantasy league will have to eat the hottest wings we can find.
Yep.
So yeah.
Hopefully they're able to do it. And right now it looks like it's going to be Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Poor
Carson.
But yeah, so we're going to kick it to Mario and start off this recap.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Big Hit. Today we will be recapping our fantasy football league. I'm going to start talking about my team, just give an overview of how we've been doing so far. So my name is Mario. I'm the manager of Team Mario. I don't really have much to say. We're 6-1. I think the record speaks for itself. Shout out to DeAndre Hopkins. Shout out whoever my quarterback is, I can't remember. Shout out Justin Jefferson and shout out Travis Kelce. We're coming for the championship.
My name is Donovan. I run Team Carrington. I'm 6-1 this week, and got a lot of injuries, but I feel like we can still pull it out and go all the way to the first round. Shout out to Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and a new person I picked up, Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, so I'm Team Maddie. So right now we're about to be 4-3. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he's doing really well for me. I usually get 25 to 30 points out of him. Nick Chubb, obviously doing really well. I have J.K. Dobbins, but he's on IR, so I'm not really getting anything from him. Deebo Samuels, that he's been okay for me. T. Higgins is pretty good. Pat Freiermuth, haven't been getting too much from him lately. Same with the Steelers defense. We did good that first week. Then after that, kind of fell off a little. Evan McPherson on Cincinnati for my kicker. He's been doing pretty well. He's solid, makes a lot of his kicks. And Gabe Davis, wide receiver, he's about the same. Get a little bit from him, and that's all for me.
Hey, hello everyone. I am General Manager Nathan Osler of Team Osler, and it's been an iffy season as we're heading to the bye weeks. We're going to be falling to 4-3, not the best, not where I want my team to be. Donnie's whooped me this week because Devontae Adams decided to give me a whopping 1.6 points, and that's supposedly my best player. Marquise Brown was my whole team. He's now injured for 6 weeks. Anytime I have to start anyone off my bench, they average 1 point, so I am screwed. My bench is not that good. So, we have Kyler Murray. He gave me a whopping 25 points this past week. Little guy did really good for me. So then we have Curtis Samuel's been iffy. I guess my top player has honestly been Younghoe Koo, the kicker from Atlanta. But yeah, 4-3, not looking too hot, but we're hoping to make the playoffs.
Hello, my name is Peyton. I am the general manager for Team Trolley. We are about to enter under 500, 3-4. Lovely. My team I'd like to describe as the definition of mid. Starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, garbage. First round pick, Austin Eckler. He's been pretty good for me. Right now he's on a bye, but not as much as I would want as a first round pick, not putting up that many points. Dylan really hasn't been doing good at that running back position. My best players are Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown. They are consistent performers here at Team Trolley. We really appreciate their efforts that they put into the team. No off weeks at all. Zach Ertz, really solid tight end for me. Christian Kirk, he was doing really good for me at the start of the season. Kind of fell off a little bit, but we're having hope with him. I have the Vikings defense. They're average at best. Boswell's out, my kicker. My best running back, Javonte Williams, out for the season, so there's that. I have Brandon Cooks, who has been kind of flopping from the active roster to the bench. Sometimes I bench him more times than not. Chase Claypool, kind of underwhelming right now. Not too impressed with his performance. Michael Thomas is out. Cordell Patterson's out. So, my running backs are really just hurting me right now. So, here's to the losers bracket.
Danny, I'm the manager of Team 50 Shades of Trey. I'm not going to lie, it's been a rough year. You draft a quarterback and Trey Lance breaks his ankle. I mean, what else could go wrong for us? We have suspensions, guys getting in fights, altercations. I mean, what couldn't go wrong? Last week, I benched Josh Jacobs, drops 36 points to my bench. So what do? I start Josh Jacobs this week, 7.4 points. I mean, Josh, let's get it together. The quarterback situation's abysmal. I drafted, as I said, Trey Lance, had to bench him. Then I get Carson Wentz. He gets hurt, 7 points. Next week, I get Trevor Lawrence. Terrible. This week, Geno Smith. He's a dog, 19 points. Love Geno. Kyle Pitts has been averaging under 10 points. So what do? I sit him this week. Let's see how much he got. 19 points. Nice job, Kyle. That's his second touchdown in London. He still has more touchdowns in London than he does in America. So that's nice. Javonte Williams, benched him, 22 points. I'm not going to lie, it's rough. If this continues, we're going to need some changes, especially in the front office. Yeah. That's all from me.
Okay, my name is Bretland Johns, and I'm the manager of Cobra Kyler. And to be honest, I do not look at my fantasy team whatsoever. And, I'm 0-6, so I really have no idea what's going on ever. But one thing I do know is I'm about to beat Peyton. So I think that's all that really matters. I'd love to stand up here and talk about my team, but I don't know what any of this means. So that's all from me.
I'm Carson Zadroga. I'm not really doing too good. I'm 0-6. Probably because I picked 3 defenses. My best defense is probably the Eagles. Total score of 13.0. Probably my best player. Jay Hurts, with a score of 28.4. So, and most of my other guys aren't great. I can't wait to eat those hot wings. So, have a great one, guys.
I'm Archie. I'm the manager of Swag City Gangsters, and the beginning of the season, it's rough, but I'm coming back this week. I'm gonna be 2-5, so pretty good. But here on out, I'm winning every single game. Everyone is going down, and I'm gonna not eat the hot wings. So that's all that matters. Sorry, Carson.
Welcome back to the Big Hit. In this segment, we're bringing back the old podcast feel. This is going to be us talking about our biggest flops of athletes and teams in the last couple weeks that we've thought have been kind of a joke in sports. So we got Danny over here, then we got Maddie and Peyton over on the couch. We're bringing that back. So, I mean, who wants to start this off? Like, this is also any sport or any athletes. It could be like tennis if you love tennis, UFC, anything. So who wants to start this one off?
I'll go ahead and start. I have an axe to grind about Jason Zucker of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's a really solid player before we got him, before we traded away Kalen Addison. But now Addison's doing really good in their system, and Jason Zucker has been dog just ever since he's come to Pittsburgh. Now, granted, he has 6 points in 7 games to start the season, but he has never been above 20 points in Pittsburgh, which is absolutely horrendous. And I don't understand why people love him so much in this city. He makes way too much money for doing not even the bare minimum.
It's because he's a Penguin.
No, it's unacceptable.
See, like, our fan base is just so, like, they're a Penguin. We love them, no matter how bad they are.
The Yinzers just won't stop.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Yinzers, I think we can kind of all agree as Steelers fans. Najee Harris this year has been a flop and a half. I don't know who wants to start on the Najee Harris debate, but this has been a worse sophomore season I can ever remember.
Najee's terrible this year. I mean, personally, I thought he was going to be a stud this year.
Mm-hmm.
He has less rushing yards than Daniel Jones, less receiving yards than fullback Kyle Juszczyk. He's an embarrassment and has the least yards per carry in the entire NFL. That includes bums, literally anyone in the NFL. Najee's playing terrible. I think last game there was a play where he got a screen, and there was an open field. He only needed 4 more yards, and he literally got 0 just because he started dancing.
Yeah,
Even Tony Romo was like, Najee, what are you doing?
Where are you going?
Free first down, and he didn't get it. So, Najee's been playing terrible.
Yeah, definitely.
Warren.
Start him.
People are saying start Warren. I don't agree. I still think Najee's a dog. He just needs to find his inner whatever sophomore slump. I really hope that Najee's going to perform well soon because I have bought his jersey, but... Yeah.
I bought it too, and then he started to stink.
Yeah.
I think it's just the whole Pittsburgh offense in general.
Yep.
Definitely all starts with the offensive coordinator with Matt Canada, which we thought.
I'm just working every day. I feel pretty good about doing my job and getting this thing where we want it to be and getting it fixed. That's what I'm doing. So I'm not privy to those. I commented last week, I'm not naive. My job is I call the plays, and if they don't work, everybody can talk about why they don't work. So that's all. I'm focused on our players, and we got to win some games.
You're fired! Whoa! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! All right!
He might have gotten kicked out or fired after that, but it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will soon, but even I have Fryermuth in my fantasy and he hasn't been doing that well. I don't know. It's Najee, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I saw that play. I think he's just thinking too much. He's trying to get more than he needs, and it just ends up biting him.
Yeah, they said Matt Canada, there was a chance that they would fire him and let him go after last game. And we saw Matt Canada use 3 trick plays last game.
Yeah.
He was doing everything he could, pulling everything out of his playbook. We had a fake punt, a pass from who threw that pass? Claypool threw the pass.
Touchdown.
And then
Derek
right
Watt had
after
a
that,
touchdown.
he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Matt Canada's doing everything he can. It's still not enough. So I think he's a bum.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be let go. Tomlin is struggling. It's the first time we've ever seen this happen. Matt Canada really does need to go. We had Todd Haley a couple years ago, the same situation. Everyone was like, fire Todd Haley, fire Todd Haley. Maybe it's not the offensive coordinator, guys. I'm starting to think maybe it's someone else. Maybe there's another scheme going on because we can't keep kicking offensive coordinators out every time we play bad. So, I'll give Matt Canada that little benefit, but everything else, he's terrible.
Seems like we all agree on the Steelers offense.
I think it's also growing pains with Pickett. Obviously he's a rookie. it's going to take him a while. It just sucks that, like, first losing season, I hope it doesn't happen, but it looks like it's going that way.
Here's the thing that frustrates me, too. I mean, it's a rookie season, and people already want to draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. They're already giving up on Pickett. Like, I see, like, no one's used to losing, but, I mean, I'm a Pirates fan. I'm used to this. I know what a rebuild is. So, like, I think a lot of Steelers fans who just focus on football don't really know what a rebuild is.
Yeah,
They're not ready for it, but it's going to happen.
Well, and that's the same thing with the Penguins, too. They don't know what a rebuild is either. Any fan, like, before the 2009 run does not know what a rebuild is. And, like, the thing with the Penguins is that they're just so desperately trying to remain competitive that now we're at to the point with the Crosby, Malkin, Letang era, we're going to turn into the next Detroit Red Wings. We're just going to keep chasing and chasing and chasing, and we're going to have to go into like a full send rebuild, and it's going to be horrible. We don't have any prospects in the system, and they're just going to keep trying to be competitive because everyone in Pittsburgh wants them to be competitive, but we have to get some type of prospects if we're going to continue this. Like, maybe not with the Crosby, Malkin era, but we have to get the next generation, basically. And fans don't want to hear that, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah. So it seems like biggest flops so far we have Najee Harris, basically the entire Steelers offense. I could honestly say the entire defense has been letting us down these last couple weeks. You said the Pittsburgh Penguins as Jason Zucker. I wouldn't say the whole team, but just Zucker.
You know who else is shocking me in the NFL? The Bucks with Tom Brady.
Say the Rams too.
Well, yeah, Brady's been terrible. You know, I never thought that we'd see Brady lose another ring, but it was he's now lost a ring from Nick Foles, Eli, and now Giselle. So that's 3 rings that have been taken away from Tom Brady. It's tough, and it's affecting Brady.
Yeah, definitely. And I know another team that's been upsetting. Well, I'm happy they were a flop. The New York Mets. I want to talk about this to switch over to baseball really quick. You lead the NL East the whole entire year, and you blow it in the final month of the season. You get swept by the Atlanta Braves, which I found hilarious. Then you had to host the wild card game against the Padres. You lost. That was hilarious. DeGrom's a free agent. Edwin Diaz is a free agent. The whole team's free agents. I'm happy. This is the collapse of the New York Mets I have been waiting for forever. I'm probably the biggest Mets hater of all time. I know you kind of like them.
I kind of like the Mets.
But still, like, it's just the fact that the fans every year say, we're going to the World Series. This is our year. They buy all these players, and then they lose in the wild card game or not make the playoffs. It's just hilarious. Yeah, Lol Mets.
Lol Mets.
Yeah, DeGrom's going to be a Brave. That's going to be the sword in the stone
Going
right
to Baltimore.
That would be sick, man.
Yep.
I can't see DeGrom in any other uniform, to be honest. Maybe a Pirates uniform.
You know, I would be fine with that.
No.
Let him come to Pittsburgh, please. That would be amazing.
Yeah, like Aaron Judge to the Pirates.
Aaron Judge to the Pirates confirmed.
You know, I hope the MLB just enforces a salary cap. Then all these teams have to dump their players, and the Pirates can just pick them up for cheap because we have the lowest pay, or we'll just be able to pick up whoever we want. We'll get an all-star team immediately. That'd be nice, but it's not going to happen. But sports is weird this year.
This year does.
It just feels
it's
different.
a flop in general this year.
Does.
Like, I mean, college football. We want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Here. Like, every team is like there's an upset every week. It's like the TCU's good this year. Tennessee, I thought Pitt was going to beat them weeks ago. They didn't, and then now Tennessee's like a championship contender. Big game against Georgia this week coming up, but yeah, it's been weird.
All sports are weird. The NFL, it just doesn't seem right. Like, especially in fantasy, like people were just like over 15 points is like incredible. I remember last year, like people were dropping 40 points every week, like it was nothing. It's just there's a weird feeling this year. I don't know what it is.
I feel like sports in general have been a flop.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Honestly, like ever since COVID, it's really just been very, very weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the NHL had the bubble, the NBA had the bubble, and like there were some weird things that happened. Like Montreal of all teams went to the finals. How does that even work? No. Dallas was the one that went to the finals of all teams. They were nowhere near a championship team, and they made it. They got killed by Tampa.
Yeah,
but they made it.
Like Montreal the year they made it because the Canada division.
Yeah, like
because it was the year after COVID. They were like, let's make this work. So they put all the Canadians teams in the same division since they weren't able to travel to America at the time. And Montreal, who last season, the season after this whole new division things, finished dead last in the league.
Exactly.
The year after making the Stanley Cup Finals.
And
It
that
was so weird.
That just like bloated the expectations of the team.
Yeah.
It's just like
To go to the NBA, though, I mean, a lot of teams have been underperforming. The Lakers, as we've mentioned, on almost every show are underperforming. The 76ers are playing terrible. Love to see that. And the Brooklyn Nets are terrible. I mean, it's nice to see. I love to see it, but at the same time, it's like weird. Like you stack up all these players. I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are both averaging over 30 points. So there's like no excuse. But what we're learning is the teams that are stacking up, like the Nets and the Lakers, they're super teams. But there's nothing on the bench. Once Kyrie and KD leave the game, I think they like some other players on there, like Yuta Watanabe. He's averaging 3 points. Like you have to have role players that do better than that. Nicholas Claxton, who I really like, he's a big guy. 11 points. He's solid, but you need other guys that are averaging 6, 7, 10 points off the bench. You see that in Cleveland. You see that in Utah. I mean, those teams with those farm systems in the NBA, those are the teams that kill it. And, I mean, the Warriors were the only time we've seen, like, a really successful super team just dominate. The Heat did it for a little while, but then they fell off. But the Lakers and Nets stacked their entire team, lost. And it kind of happened with the Sixers. I think they just got in trouble. The Sixers just lost a couple draft picks for tampering with free agents.
PJ Tucker, of all people, I saw. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy that's not really the most popular. But I find that hilarious. It's like for PJ Tucker. No offense to PJ Tucker. But, like, for PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, they really wanted that guy. And I don't know why they even had to tamper with him. I don't know of a lot of teams that actually want PJ Tucker. But go Sixers if you like him.
No.
Sorry, Maddie.
I feel like sometimes people just have, like the teams, they have too much talent that like, I don't want to say like clashes and like selfish, but like sometimes, because like what you said, they do have like over 30 points, but like sometimes it just doesn't mix well with all of them trying like too hard.
Yeah, definitely. And like I wanted to bring this up. I was like, here's a question for all of you. This might take a while to think about. Which city right now is the biggest flop in sports?
Atlanta.
Atlanta?
The Falcons. Actually, no, they're okay right now. They're okay. I'm going to take that back.
See, I don't want to say Pittsburgh because, I mean, the Penguins are the Penguins right now. They're right now 4-4-1, I think.
Yeah, but they've dropped some back. They lost to the Canucks of all teams.
The Kraken?
And the Kraken.
The newest team in the league.
Honestly, it's Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah.
As much as I'm a Raptors super fan, the Raptors, they're not doing incredible this year. But it's not the Raptors that are the big factor. It's the Blue Jays.
Yep.
And I don't know anything about the NHL, but I know that the Maple Leafs are expected to win like every year almost, and then they're just terrible every year. They always lose in the playoffs or they don't make the playoffs. So, but I know the Blue Jays were supposed to go on a crazy run. They looked really good in the regular season. They weren't good. The Raptors have been struggling ever since 2019, their championship run. They're just solid. We're nothing great yet. I think we're going to go on a good run this year. But, I think Toronto's a big letdown in sports right now. And the fans of Toronto, I've seen a couple interviews with people on the street. They're definitely feeling it.
Well, see, the thing with Toronto is, like, they have such a good core, like with the Maple Leafs. They have such a good core. They have so much money invested in, like, 4 or 5 players that they can't get the depth, especially in goaltending, to back them up. Like, they signed Matt Murray this past offseason. He's now hurt.
Yeah.
So now they have, I think it's Samsonov in that, which he's all right, but they just don't have a lot of that depth scoring, and they don't have enough money to pay guys to support them, that they just get bounced every time they get in the first round.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 or 5 years now, first round exit.
And I think a city that might be worse right now than Toronto, in expectation-wise, is Los Angeles.
Yes.
Lakers, I mean, I'm not even going to get started on them because we say it every episode.
The
Dodgers were expected to win it.
Collapse
113 wins and
the Rams, I mean, they're playing like not even good. Like they're playing pretty bad, honestly. The Clippers are playing bad. They can't perform. I don't know how.
Yeah.
They're a really solid team. They have depth on that team. They just got John Wall. They're not performing well. I'm not sure how the hockey team's doing.
Kings are on the upswing. They have a lot of good prospects in the system.
Good
but
prospects,
they're not. The Pacific is a very loaded division, so they're probably not going to finish very high.
I mean, I remember last year or a couple years ago when everyone was like, "Oh, Los Angeles is the new sports city of the world," and now they're just like, they're trying so hard because they have all the money. They're trying so hard to like push everything and build these new arenas and everything. And first of all, Los Angeles does not have good sports fans at all. Their biggest fan base is the Dodgers, hands down, 100%. Everyone likes the Dodgers. No one, like, you're a bandwagon if you're in Los Angeles because 90% of people from Los Angeles are not born in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own teams. More people are 49ers fans and everything. You know, you're living in California. So, yeah, Los Angeles is a huge letdown in sports recently.
Yeah, definitely. And we are about out of time for this segment, and this is kind of a little bit of a segue into next week where we're going to have the first ever Big Hit sports team and player roast. So we're going to roast your favorite players and teams. That's the plan. But thank you all for joining this week with us. Draft recap, biggest flops. We'll see you next week. Have a great day, everyone.